Hey everybody, I'm going to apologize for any glare in advance. I just grabbed my camera because while I'm feeding the Gourami Tank here, threw some crumbled up algae wafers in there, and I have noticed all 5 of my Kuhli Loaches out at one time. I was able to count 5 at once. So in the last video where I talked about these Kuhli Loaches, I had spoken about where he's going. The last time I talked about the Kuhli Loaches, I talked about how I could see 4 of them, but I thought there was still 5 of them in the tank because I had put 5 in, and as far as I know, I hadn't lost any. And so just for a moment there, I did see 5 of the Kuhli Loaches out together feeding on those crumbled up algae wafers. And so, of course, my Striped Raphael's out doing his thing. I really need to consider getting him into a bigger tank. I don't think the tank is too small for him from like a biofiltration sort of point of view. And he certainly is not being cramped up, considering that the vast majority of his time all he does is lay in his cave and not do anything anyway. But when he does swim around, I have this tank so heavily decorated, and I have so much wood and rock work in here, it makes him difficult being I'll call him a bottom dweller. Doesn't necessarily stay on the bottom at all times, but for the most part, think of like a Corydoras. It's very much a bottom dwelling type fish. And so when you've got like rocks and wood in your tank, they generally sit on the bottom of the tank, which is where my catfish needs to be. So again, biologically, I think we could house him in a 55-gallon tank. It's just that I've got, if you make it an environment full of stuff for the fish to hide in and get under, which is a good environment for that kind of fish, then this tank does seem to be a little bit small for it. So we're going to need to consider what to do about that. Anyway, this video was supposed to be about my Kuhli Loaches. I can see 4 of them right now. And we may have already seen 5 at once in the earlier part of the video when I grabbed the camera. I was more worried about looking at the camera and where I was pointing it rather than actually sitting there counting the loaches and that sort of thing. So we do have a positive count of 5 Kuhli Loaches, which makes me very happy. Cool little animals, no pun intended. So hopefully I'll be able to add some more to that if I ever get back out to the fish store one of these days. Again, not real keen on going out places I don't necessarily need to go, and I also don't really need to spend any money I don't really need to spend right now. Again, financial future is a little on the uncertain side, so I won't be going out and buying any fish that I don't necessarily need right now. So someday I would like to add to this school of Kuhli Loaches in there and get 8 or 10 of them swimming around, because from what I hear from pretty much everybody that has experience with them, if you get a big group of them together, the more the merrier. And I know that always holds true with every other species of loach, barring a few of them. I do have that red-tailed loach in this tank, and that is not a gregarious loach. It is a loach that likes to be left alone, and I did not know that when I bought it. I've had it for years and years and years and years, and at this point it's just part of this tank. I don't even ever really think about it, let alone think about getting rid of it or anything, trying to catch it or get it out of the tank. It's just in there, and I don't worry about it. But for the most part, loaches are very gregarious animals. They do prefer the company of others, and they don't even necessarily have to be the same species. They just prefer to be around other similar loaches. My skunk loach and my angelicus loach there get along just fine. So if I get another half dozen Kuhli Loaches in there and we get a nice little school of 8, 10, 11 of them in there, I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that would look fantastic. So there you go, just a quick impromptu spur of the moment glare filled look at my 55-gallon Gourami tank. And of course all of the glare is coming from my waterfall tank, or at least most of my glare is coming from my waterfall tank here. And I will leave you with this. This is the final daylily on this stalk here, which was actually growing all way over there. I actually had to unweave it through the dead nettles there and bring it back around to where it was trying to get to the light. So that's the last flower on that stalk, and these 3 have passed. They were what we were looking at yesterday. This one is today's flower, which is almost gone already. And then we've got those 2 flower buds right there left, and those will be tomorrow's flower. And after that, the daylily will be done. Oh, maybe not. We got this little stumpy little one in there. Maybe we'll see what something happens with that. We'll get a little flower tomorrow, the day after. But the daylily's pretty much done. So my only option now would be to go out in the yard and dig up some more daylilies and bring them in, which is still an option. I've not ruled that out yet. You know, bringing some more aphids in is a possibility, but it's not that daunting. I've dealt with aphids plenty of times before. It's just part of stuff I've got to deal with sometimes, so I don't worry too much about it. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I hope you enjoyed that. Just wanted to give you a look at my Kuhli Loaches, and we ended up, of course, looking at my waterfall. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you real soon in the next one.